I'm Jamie Poole, the company is Underwood Homes, and we're building 2 houses on this site.
The problem is I never looked into my own face.
Last time we saw you, we're still pouring footings. Since then, footings have gone off and I've started to lay the blocks round. Gone right the way round, done the first course on the outside, and yesterday I set out all the corners on the inside to damp course height, like the finished floor level of the house. So I got all the corners done yesterday, so that was a bit of a faffy day. But today I've just been running the blockwork in between the corners, so you know, down through here, that way, across the back, and we're just over in that back corner now. Hopefully by the end of today, if not Monday, I should have all the blockwork to the height I need, ready for the next bit. Tuesday morning, 20th of September, and this is the first block of the house, just about to lay it. There it is. It's taken a long time to get to this stage, but that feels good. I want to go 1 course all the way around on the outside, 2 courses all the way around on the inside. So I'm going to set the inside wall out now. I'm just going to load out some more muck to carry on with the blockwork, but because it's quite hot today, it keeps going off in the tub, so just chucked a bit more water in with it, wet it up a bit so it's not too stiff while I'm trying to lay blocks with it basically. This is the outside wall of the house, which on the back here is going to be blockwork and render, and this is the cavity. So inside this cavity we've got like 100mm insulation and then just 50mm breather gap there, so that's why I've set out the 2 walls that width, and I'm just going to finish laying this inside one. So all the corners are set to damp course, but what I need to do is leave a gap for the doorways. I don't bring the doorway up to damp course, because even though the door sit at damp course, it's going to be sat out on this outside skin, so the door's going to sit at this level. So I like to leave the internal wall down a bit so that we can send our insulation and concrete right through to this outside wall, and then when the door is sat on the floor goes right up to it and it's all insulated and damp proof and things like that. So I know the door is 900 off of that corner to here, that's where I've marked 900mm. So I'm just going to go and grab a square that across, and that'll be the last block I lay from there to there on this doorway. I'll do the same down there, and then I'll start on this wall down through here. 195mm. I like to hold my finger on 195mm and then just scratch down there, and it leaves you with a clear line down there to follow, and then you just batter it. All the way around. Clean cut. Whenever you're laying blocks, bricks, stone, whatever, you just use a string line. You make sure your corners are plumb, gauge and spot on, and then all you've got to do is just pull a bit of string through, and that's what you follow with your bricks. As long as your corners are right, the middle of the wall will be right. And then that brick on there just holds the line spot on that edge of the block for you to follow. And the same down the other end. just like to put something on the back corner there, and that just aims the brick straight down onto that corner again. Normally, when you're laying blocks, you know, I know exactly how much I pick up with my trowel for each bed joint, but when you're on footings, even though these footings are pretty perfect, sometimes in areas where there's a bit of a dip, you might end up with a slightly bigger bed joint. So the first course in the footings, you always use a lot of muck, just to get a feel for the depth of the bed basically that you're going to need throughout. So it looks like I'm throwing a lot of muck down and moving it around. It's just what you got to do on the first course to try and get that block level in the first course, and then it all flies a bit smoother on the second course, because you kind of know that bed joint is the same depth all the way through. So it's the same with the perp joints as well. These upright joints, they're called perp joints. You always keep them at 10 mil, which you kind of just, well, when you've been doing it for a while, you kind of just know how big a 10 mil joint is. But when I set this wall out, to avoid putting a cut in the middle of the wall, cutting a block in the middle of the wall, I think I had to gain like 50 mil or something. So through this wall, I'm going to spread my joints out a bit wider, just so I don't have to do a cut basically. Save me about 5 minutes of work and cutting a block, like, you know. So string line, that's a dead straight line, and I'm just literally following it with my Blockwork. That the blocks or any muck you lay don't touch the line, because if the line gets pushed out at all, say if it gets pushed out a couple mil here, and then you don't realise, and you start following that new line all the way down for a bit, your wall's going to be all over the place by the time you get to the other end. So just tap it down, that's all perfect, and then fill the joints up. See, when you fill in the joint up, that pushes the line out. It's just something to be aware of when you finish tidying up the perp of each joint. See, that's spot on now. So this front wall here, this is the only wall I'm not going to be able to finish for a little while. One, because this is where I'm going to drive the machine through to do the drainage and that I talked about earlier. But also, this is like the front porch of the building, and it's got a big feature window basically, which is going to go from floor height, so from there all the way up to the ridge. So it's like a 2-story window with an apex in it. And I can't build this up yet because I'm waiting for the structural engineer to come back with a plan on the steels. I've got a feeling we might be fixing the steels down to the footings and then building them in, but until I get the plans off him, I don't know yet, so watch this space. So one of the other things that's happened since I last saw you is we've dug this area out nice and level. The plan was to hide the lockup behind the wall, but the lockup's just poking out over the top of the wall. But the lockup is the new grub hut basically. And this is it, look, cozy armchair in the corner, nice big desk. This is where the coffee happens. The wall we've just done is this one. So you can see you've got big bifolds on the back here. That's the ones we just set out. This is the wall we've just laid down through there. So before I do the second course on that wall, I want to know where this door's going. So I've just measured it. I've got 900mm pier, same as that one, so nice and symmetrical, and a 2.4 wide door. So I'm going to set that out and carry on. Just going to measure the 2.4 off of there. I build my blockwork up to that side of this brick basically on this second course, and then that one will stay down for the doorway. Sometimes with concrete blocks you do get chunks missing, or it's like, I think it's where a bigger bit of stone has gone in through the mixer and it's just not set properly like it should. So a bit of a default really. That should be a free block for me, but I doubt I'll be able to get my 90p back. Right, so I should have this blockwork done by Monday. By the looks of it now, should have the blockwork done. I'm going to come in here with the digger and just level off some of this ground to get it down a bit, because then we've got to put some hardcore in and make it all nice and level. I've got to run some drainage from like the back corner. There's a bathroom coming down, I've got to get the drainage in and out through the front wall here. And then there's another bit of drainage in the kitchen that I've got to get on this side out through the front there. So I'll do all that with the machine. So the next time I probably see you properly will be when the drainage is all set out, ready for building control to see. And when this floor has been all leveled, ready for concrete. So yeah, just before we concrete that, I expect, and we'll see you then.